All right, hello everybody. It's Mr. Hoaxsprung, and we're going to try a new twist on an old thing we've done in class. If you look at the background, we're in my very fancy workshop in the basement. That's my home office during this distance learning adventure we're on. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the Quizizz game we've been playing. Now, I have all the results people have had so far. This is as of Wednesday morning. So if you keep playing the game, you're going to see these numbers change. But I wanted to go over each question because we typically do that when we are working in class. We typically play the game together. I do a review of all the questions, and then you guys get to hear the answers. So since we can't do that, we're going to do this. Now, if you see, hopefully my webcam is working and I'm the coolest new YouTuber. Maybe I'll be like Unspeakable or Preston. Maybe I'll come out with some merch or something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so here's the first question. What has made Italy or Rome so good at attracting people to settle there throughout history? Well, the best answer, 119 people have picked it so far, is that it's centrally located for trade and has a climate good for farming. Remember, shipping is a huge thing, and the Mediterranean Sea is where lots of people sailed their ships from country to country, and Rome is kind of right in the middle of it. And for farming, remember, farming is how civilizations got started. It's how civilizations made money. The more food you could grow, the more you had to eat. And if you had extra, you could sell it to other people, including other countries. So economies were based on farming. All right, question two. This is that crazy story with Romulus and Remus. If I click on this, I think I can zoom in. Oh, where is it? Come on. Romulus and Remus were those two boys that were raised by wolves. I know it's hard to see here, but you can see them fighting. It looks like Remus came over to make fun of Romulus's wall. So, like all brotherly fights, Romulus stabbed him and killed him. Okay, hopefully you don't do that at home. Now, Romulus is the surviving brother, which Rome is named for. There's different legends that say these guys were descendants of Aeneas, who was the Trojan soldier who is said to have founded Rome. So this is just one of those stories. But remember, Romulus and Remus, they're the ones that were supposedly raised by a wolf. So when you see that statue with the wolf with the two babies under it, that's them. All right, the next question. These are the people that taught the Romans how to build roads and buildings. They also influenced the ways Romans dressed and organized their army. Who were they? That was the Etruscans. 67% of you, 145 people have picked it so far. The Etruscans were those people that kind of controlled this area north of Rome and the area around Rome itself. The Etruscans were actually in charge of Rome. When Rome started to build momentum and get stronger, they would eventually overthrow the Etruscans and they would take over. But the Etruscans had a lot of good things going for them, and the Romans learned from them. We're going to learn about how the Romans adopted things from the different cultures, the different places that they took over. If they took over a place and that place had great ideas, the Romans took those ideas, which is one of the things that made them such strong conquerors. The Romans did not like how they were being treated under the rule of the Etruscans. What did they do? Like I just said, they overflew through the Etruscans and formed a republic. What helped the Romans expand their land so well? A is the best answer here. 129 people have said it's that they had a strong army and ruled those they conquered wisely and effectively. So let's see. I think I can get into character. All right. My Rome thinking helmet. So the Roman military was very organized, and that allowed them to take over and control many things. I think it's a good look. Maybe I'll use this in school too. Okay. What is a republic? A republic is a form of government where the citizens vote for their leader, much like what we have here in America. It's a kind of a form of democracy. Now, we're going to learn next section, next week, we're going to talk about the republic. It wasn't a perfect system, and we're going to learn about how that changed and how it became better. I like that look. Okay. Now, this gave Roman citizenship to many of the people conquered by Rome. This afforded them all the rights of a Roman citizen. What is this called? This was the Roman Confederacy. We mentioned it in the notes. The Roman Confederacy was how Rome kept so many different countries kind of under their rule. They did not come in like the Assyrians we learned about in Mesopotamia. They weren't brutal. They weren't feared. They didn't come in and just murder people and steal from them and scare them. They came in, brought order. They built roads. They established military bases there. They made the land safe. And the countries the Romans kind of moved into started to do better. And the people liked that. And the Roman Confederacy was this idea that people in these other countries that got taken over were given the rights of Roman citizens. They weren't treated as slaves or something less than Romans. They were given these rights, and that got them kind of on this whole team Rome so that they supported Rome. This mountain range runs the length of Italy. Now, this is not something that we talked about as much, but it probably will pop up on the quiz. And this is these mountains called the Apennines. If you look at the map in our notes, the Apennines are the mountains that kind of run right along the middle of kind of that boot-like shape of Rome. What was the name given to a group of 6,000 Roman soldiers? That is a legion. A legion of soldiers is about 6,000 of them. What helped prevent seagoing raiders from attacking Rome via the Tiber River? It was the fact that Rome was built 15 miles inland of the river, making it impossible for raiders to sneak up on the city. Because basically, if a raider came in from the ocean, if the town was on the ocean, you can only see like a mile out. After that, you're not going to be able to see very much further. So when ships would attack from the ocean, if your city was on the ocean, they wouldn't have much warning. However, Rome had this long river. So there would be people along the river that could kind of warn the city if anybody was sailing up it with bad intentions. What aspect of Rome's location protected it from attacks and made it easy to defend? It was on 7 hills, which made it easy to defend. Remember that whole hill example I always give with, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi? If you're uphill, you have the high ground, that's an advantage. Don't end up like Anakin. The poet Virgil wrote a poem describing a Trojan warrior fleeing Troy after it was defeated by the Greeks. The story tells of how he then went on to create Rome. What was it called? This story was the Aeneid. The Aeneid is like Virgil's sequel of Homer's Iliad. So Iliad is the Trojan War. The Aeneid takes place afterwards. Troy has fallen, and Aeneas runs away with, I believe, carrying his father and his son and some like little idols that he used to pray to the gods. And he ran off and was given the destiny by the gods. He was supposedly, I believe, kind of like a Hercules. He one of his parents was a god. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but this was that story. What would the person pictured most likely be part of? If you look at this guy, you can kind of see the little tiny picture there. There he is. He's got his shield, his helmet. Not as cool as my helmet, that's for sure. But this is a part of a Roman legion. This is a Roman soldier. Remember our Roman Lego guy? So that's the best one. We have not talked about Roman gladiators yet, but we will. Now, what helped the Romans control such a huge empire with parts of it very far away from Rome? It's the fact that they developed an extensive road system to improve travel and stationed soldiers in many outposts to keep the peace. We take it for granted that we are able to hop on the Northway and drive to Albany or New York City in just a couple of hours. That's because we have these great roads that connect our communities. Back then, if you had to hike over mountains or through woods, it took you a really long time, and especially if you had a cart full of goods you wanted to sell with a horse pulling it. So the Romans built roads, and this allowed their soldiers to travel around the country very easily. It also allowed the people to travel, so people could travel and sell things and improve the economy. Now, the Greeks and the Etruscans influenced Roman society in a number of different ways. Which of the following list examples of this? Well, they wrote and organized the military are 2 of them. They wrote using the Greek alphabet, and they organized their military much like the Etruscans did. How Roman laws were made and how government had worked, not quite. Types of food and cooking techniques, we didn't really get into that. And ship and theater design, we definitely didn't talk about that. But we did mention in our notes the Greek alphabet was adopted by the Romans, and the Etruscans kind of had this military organization that Rome built theirs off of. All right, so that is a review of the 15 questions on the Quizizz. So if you've been having trouble on any one of those, I hope my explanation helped out. So keep playing that. This is Wednesday, so if you saw the post for today was to finish up those study slides if you can. That's just to help you get ready for kind of our quiz, and I'll say the quiz with air quotes there. It's going to be open notes, so if you took your notes and you copied off your notes or did whatever, you can use those on the quiz. It is going to be very much based on the Quizizz here. I don't want you to think about it as something to get stressed out over. It is more an activity just to see what you remember so far of what we've learned. And that'll be posting tomorrow. Remember, you're going to have Thursday to do this. If you need it Friday, you're going to have that as well. I want to give you guys some time to catch up on all those different things. So today, if you don't get the study slides done, you can work on those tomorrow too, which is Thursday. And then you can take the quiz Thursday afterwards, or you can take it on Friday if you want as well. We will not be starting our new Rome stuff until Monday. So if anybody has a question, please feel free to email me. You know where I am. So I miss all you guys, and I hope to hear from you soon, and we'll talk soon. All right, take care. Let's see. Control Shift S is supposed to stop this. Control Shift